The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to Dueling Comedians, where two comedians clash to see whose comedy kills and who gets killed.
Figuratively speaking, of course.
All this to determine who claims the coveted Dueling Comedians trophy. This is Dueling Comedians.
This is Dueling Comedians. I'm Tony V. We haven't started dueling or clashing or sword fighting or anything yet.
Not yet.
But we're about to. It's going to get
we're going to throw down.
Pretty bloody up here in a minute.
Yeah.
This week, of course, as always, we are vying for the coveted trophy. Once again, knowing it's coveted, it says coveted trophy right on it. Should you not be aware that it's coveted. And do you covet that?
I would like to covet it.
A lot of people don't know. Oh, let me introduce you first.
Of course.
This is Scott Higgins.
How are you?
Fine and talented comedian. And Scott, that's Laugh Track Larry over there, my sidekick.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, Larry.
How are you?
Good.
We're happy to have you here.
I can see the Ritalin's working.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't
a lot
know.
calmer than he was in previous episodes.
I don't know what you did to rile him up, but stay away from that,
I
please.
apologize.
Yeah,
I didn't even know I crossed his path.
I have anger issues.
We'll address that at a later date, Larry. Just try to keep your hands on the buttons and focus. That's all we ask.
Okay.
Now, Scott, you hail from the fine state of Rhode Island? Is that
Connecticut,
true?
actually.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
Why do I associate you with Rhode Island?
Probably because there is no comedy scene in Connecticut, so I do most of my stuff in Rhode Island.
Yeah, Connecticut's an awful place, isn't it?
It is.
You ever driven through? Oh, you must have driven through there. You live there.
Exactly.
It's really the closest thing. I mean, before the current climate of this country, it was the closest thing we had to fascism.
Pretty damn close.
Yeah, they had all the rules about, two hands on the wheel, you can't have your phone out, you can't look at the passenger, You can't get head on the way to a gig. You know what I mean?
You can't do that anymore?
No, not in Connecticut.
Oh, man.
And
that's how I used to make an extra $50.
Right. You can't do it in Rhode Island because you don't have enough time.
No, you're through the state before you're done, before you finish.
Right. You can't even get stopped for speeding in Rhode Island. By the time you hit 78, you're in Connecticut. Yeah, and then it starts out a whole nother thing.
Yeah, it's not the most fun state to live in, but I'm very centrally located everywhere I need to go. So
it works.
Works out well for me that way. So.
It's very white as well, isn't it?
It leans towards that side quite a bit.
Right.
Quite a bit.
And I'm not saying that it's good or bad. It's just a statement of fact.
Just right at the state line, they have those ethnic detectors as you drive through.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
And then depending on how it beeps, you go what
you
exit.
either head towards Rhode Island or you continue on to Connecticut.
What exit is yours and what not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How'd you get started in comedy?
Actually, after my third child was born, I'd always wanted to try it, and a friend of mine, Cal Verducci, who was doing comedy in the Boston area at the time.
Cal Verducci of Miss Piggy having sex fame.
Yes. Yep. His famous Miss Piggy and Kermit bit.
Yeah. Stands out in my mind.
I was doing some things with him, helping him write some stuff for a CD, and he talked me into it. So we went to a club on a Sunday night and lied to the manager saying I was an out-of-town working comedian that was looking to do a spot, and he let me get on.
Yeah.
And it just, once that hook was in, that was it. It was done.
The bug usually hits a lot of people after they've had their third child because they just want to be anywhere.
Out of the house.
Right. They just want to be anywhere other than where they are.
Exactly.
Which is either changing the diaper or going, I didn't drop him on his head. He just fell.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. That old excuse.
You ever drop a kid on the head?
No.
Yeah.
I've never dropped one on their head. Landed on their ass a few times.
Yeah.
But I got lucky. They stay upright.
That's why asses are
They're resilient little bastards sometimes. So.
Yeah. You know that game they play now where you have the bottle that's half full and you try to flip it and it lands?
Yes.
I used to do that with my kids. I'd just pick them up by the arms, flip them, and see if I could land them on their feet.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we got visited a couple of times.
I was going to say.
I was pretty good at it.
Were you?
Yeah, I was pretty good at it.
My grandmother used to flip all the kids because she said that would make them sleep during the night. And I said, yeah, because they're so dizzy, they pass out for the next 6 hours.
Yeah, you
So
put them
she
in the
would flip
dryer.
them end over end.
Sure, you put them in the dryer, you get the same effect.
Exactly.
And it's warm. You put them in there with
And
one of their
less
blankies.
strain on your shoulders,
Yeah,
too.
it's much easier to get
Yeah,
by.
nice.
So where do you work mostly, too? How does that work? Where do you...
I work all over New England, New York. Actually, last weekend I was in Sarasota, Florida, for doing a few shows down there.
Nice.
I try to get out as much as I can, but with a family, it's not always the easiest thing to do.
How old are your kids?
25, 23, and 19.
Oh, my God. I thought you were going to say, 12, 10, and 3.
No, I didn't waste any time.
Wow, you got them. Wow, what were you, 9 when you had them?
11, actually.
Yeah, wow.
No.
Wow,
Got them out of the way early.
You didn't waste your puberty at all.
No, I was a horny mother back then,
You were
man.
cocked and loaded.
Absolutely
Needed to get rid of some stuff. Yeah.
A lot of frustration came out in those first few years.
Sure. And apparently landed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hit the bullseye.
What do they do?
My oldest is a school teacher. My middle one is a veterinary technician, and my youngest is going to school for nursing.
Wow, successful people.
Obviously they get that from their mother.
Yeah.
Did not come from my side of the family.
Did you marry up? It seems like...
I did very well.
I mean, I don't know you all that well.
No, I did very well.
So I got to assume you married up.
Yes,
right.
Yes, I did very well.
Right. And and so everyone's doing fine?
Yeah, they're doing well. They're doing very, very well.
And your wife, is she supportive about the comedy?
Yeah, actually she was. Especially when I first started, with the kids being little and she's home alone many nights a week, because when you first start, you're getting stage time anywhere you can.
Yeah.
And she never really complained about it or anything. She's always been great about it. So,
where was the first place you ever did stand-up?
The Comedy Palace in North Andover.
Oh, yes. Ronnie
the
Salem.
Grill, yes.
Yeah, the
Ronnie.
Grill 93.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a Sunday night show, and like I said, we lied to him and said that I was a working comedian.
It was the Grill 93.
And he said you could do a spot that night.
Which was later taken over by a guy named Dick Doherty.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. I worked for Dick right up until he didn't have clubs anymore.
If you worked for Dick, then you worked for Dick.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. He used to pay us in what he called Dick dollars. Like if you did a show, he would give you he has like Monopoly money made out, and you could spend it at the restaurant or there.
I never got that.
You never got the Dick bucks?
No.
Oh yeah, it was a real thing. Oh yeah.
Did you save any of those?
What's that?
That's a keepsake.
I have some.
Yeah, that is a keepsake.
Yeah.
I would have kept one of those.
So his mug on it and stuff like that. So if you went in and did a showcase, because it started out like anything else. Like if you went in on an off night, they would feed you and give you drinks and stuff. And then comedians, being the deadbeats they are, somebody fucked that up within the first, 2 or 3 weeks. And then they go, no, you can't have a steak to take home, that kind of thing.
Right.
And then by the end of it, before it got to the Dick dollars, they just had a Ukrainian lady over a pot of stew with a ladle. And you'd come in and she'd go, "This for you." And then
only one piece of bread for you.
Boom. And then you'd go, and then you'd tell your jokes.
Yep.
That's the way it worked. How do you find Rhode Island as a place to do stand-up?
Well, there's really only one club there, but there's a lot of bars, a lot of places that do comedy nights, so you can stay pretty busy. John Parada has...
What's the club there now? I mean...
The Connection in East Providence.
Of course, the Connection. Mm-hmm. That's a great
Comedy
outfit.
Connection. Yeah,
they've really made a play on it.
Dave and Corey, when they bought it, they really put a lot of money into it.
People,
and
good job,
they bring a lot of great acts through, and they've done a great job keeping that place going.
Right.
So, it's been around forever. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, the lineage there goes back to the original Comedy Connection in Boston, and then it was taken over by somebody else, and then they ended up with it, and they're doing a nice job. I'm on record, and I don't mind saying this at all. I think Rhode Island is one of the few places that should not be allowed to have comedy. Those people are so stupid as a whole. That it's hard to do anything other than a dick joke.
If it doesn't have an F word or a dick in it.
They have no use for it.
They won't get it.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to them.
And the thing that I love about Rhode Island, whatever town you're in, everyone thinks the town next to them is dumber than they are. So if you're in Cranston, and you say East Providence, people go, "Dah!"
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, whatever town
Right,
you're in, just say
right.
the town next to it. You'll get a big laugh.
I was in Warwick, blah, and they just love it. Yeah, because they're idiots.
Well, there's the music.
That's the music. That means we got to go to break.
Fair
all
enough.
right. Larry runs a tight ship around
He
here.
does.
So,
And I already crossed him once. I'm not going to do it again.
Listen to whatever's coming up, and then we'll be back on the other side of that, and it's all very painfully obvious. Sit tight.
You're listening to Dueling Comedians. Now streaming on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. This wicked pissa show will be right back.
This is David Garofalo, and you've heard me say it over and over again for many years. Please support your local cigar retailer. And I mean it. If you don't buy from them, they will go away, and then what? There'll be no place to go. That being said, sometimes you're far away from any cigar shops or a place that doesn't carry the stuff you've been hearing about and you want to try it. That's where twoguyscigars.com comes in. It's the number twoguyscigars.com. And unlike most online cigar shops, at twoguyscigars.com, you can buy a single cigar of whatever you want. You don't have to buy boxes or even 5-packs and suffer through cigars you might not even like. One of this and one of that is acceptable, appreciated, and commonplace at twoguyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Thank you for your business.
Yes, I don't know where you went. We went nowhere, so we're still sitting here.
Still here.
Still hoping you're listening to this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Larry, how's it going today for you?
It's a lot of buttons to keep track of, Tony.
Yeah. Do you want us to get you like a gibbon or some sort of a monkey to help you push the buttons over there?
I like to have those lattes.
You like a latte?
You got that?
A coffee drink?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you a nice coffee drink.
I don't think he
Alright.
should have any more caffeine.
Yeah, I know. Well, we try to keep it under
Yeah.
wraps. So, Scott, how do people get a hold of it? This is the part of the show you get to plug yourself a little bit. I don't know if you plug yourself. That sounds dirtier than I intended.
Either way, no judgment.
Yeah, okay. But if people wanted to get a hold of you,
My website is scotthigginslive.com.
that's great.
You can
What do
get
they
it-
find it? You have your own podcast too,
Yes,
as well. With,
Behind the Funny with my co-host Ace Aceto.
right. Also
veteran
from Rhode Island.
Yep, veteran comedy guy
Right,
from Rhode Island.
right.
We've been doing it it'll be 2 years in March, and the link to that is on my website.
So you go to Scott
Go to
Higgins Live.
scotthigginslive.com, and you'll see a link for
there.
Behind the Funny, and you can go
Right,
to Behind the Funny
right.
podcast.
And-
We were lucky enough to have Tony on an episode. A great
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
We had a blast.
Yeah, your podcast is a lot of fun.
Yep.
And let me say to my friend Ace Aceto, and to all the comics in Rhode Island, when I was shitting on Rhode Island, it's the state, not the comedians.
They know
I give
that.
you guys nothing but credit for trying to break away at the granite that is the head of most of the people in that state. And here's the thing I love about it, Scott. They wear it like a badge.
Oh, yeah, they're proud of it.
ignorance. Oh, yeah.
They're proud of it.
Well, I'm from Providence. That's geography. It doesn't mean anything.
Performing there is like going to battle.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have to be that way.
No, but-
you can read a book. You can get on the internet and learn things.
Learn a lot of stuff on the internet. Yeah.
I was of the opinion, and I have said this years ago, that they should get rid of Rhode Island and just put a bridge from Massachusetts to Connecticut. Just bypass the whole thing. Turn the whole thing into a mall.
Might as well. They don't want to drive anywhere
Yeah,
anyway.
they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they
There's
don't
nothing
leave.
to do there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, so you can get... That means it's dueling time.
I'm nervous.
All right, you ready for this?
I guess so. A couple months ago, I turned 50. Finally, I've hit that precipice, and I've learned that 50 years old is the point where the warranty is expired. Shit's breaking, that's just not going to get fixed anymore. Like the other day, I pulled a muscle in my back, farting.
Well, I'll keep with that theme. Wait till you get past that, and then the next number comes up, 60, where you stop farting entirely and just leak gas from the moment you wake up to not even in your sleep.
As we went into commercial, when we were hearing the peeing sound, I just want to know, what age do you get when peeing for a man becomes a sexual event? Because I've seen older guys standing at the urinal in a restroom moaning louder than anything I've seen in a porno before. Their backs to me and they're like, oh, God, there it is right there. I just want to get to that point where I can pee like that.
I woke up the other morning. It was a cold morning, and there was sushi on the top of my car. And I was just thinking to myself, what had to transpire over the nighttime that sushi ended up on the top of my car? If somebody had just purchased sushi and just said, that RAV4 looks like the perfect place to dine. And it was sort of stuck there. And then I imagined the seagull coming by and going, sushi again.
Maybe they weren't dining there. Maybe they were storing it there. We don't know, right? But I'm trying to lose weight because I read an article in Men's Health magazine that said when a guy is middle-aged, for every extra 20 pounds he carries on his frame, he loses an inch of length on his penis. I'm Irish. That scared the shit out of me. So I set a goal for myself. I'm currently trying to lose 160 pounds.
By my calculations, you'd have an innie at that point. I was at the dentist the other day, and I sat in the chair, and the dentist says to me, are you having any difficulties? And I said, yes, the current political situation, my wife is nagging me, and my feet hurt. He said, I'm a dentist. I said, that's all right, I'm telling everybody.
I recently blocked WebMD on my own computer because I've been going on there with my symptoms and I've become a hypochondriac. I have everything. A month ago, I went on there, I punched in all my symptoms, and what I saw scared the hell out of me. So I went to the doctor, and without even examining me, he said there's no way I have bacterial vaginosis.
It occurred to me just last week that the Supreme Court is a bunch of people sitting on a bench arguing, which you can see that's just like a good night after the bars closed down in Boston, Massachusetts. So if you find yourself in the middle of the Boston Common on a bench arguing, you are one robe short of being on the Supreme Court. Right? So if they accost you, you just go, sorry, I lost my robe. I'm on the Supreme Court. Because nobody knows who's on the Supreme Court. There's the old woman, the attempted racist, and the other guy. And that's it.
Are we still going?
Yeah, we're going.
Oh, all right.
I was waiting.
You're done with the dueling portion.
That was it, right?
I wasn't
buzzer
sure.
indicated. It's like a basketball game, you know.
Yeah, I was taking a sip of water. I was trying to rehydrate, Larry.
Well, so Tony, you're the host, and I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, please jump in at any time if I...
I'd appreciate it if you pay attention.
All right. Every now and again I do.
He is cross today.
I was so happy with my last joke, I was having a moment with myself.
You earned it.
Well,
you earned it.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
OMG. I was laughing so hard, I think a little pee came out.
See? It was keeping with the theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're around electronics, so let's be careful of that.
Well, a lot of the jokes seem to be pee and poop jokes.
Yeah.
Those appeal to me.
You like that, yeah.
I tried to suck up to Larry.
Yeah, that's good.
I really did.
We'll see what happens.
Others have not done well by crossing Larry.
No. I remember Will Noonan lost the thing because of that.
disappointing.
Yeah. I'm always on tenterhooks about this.
The winner of the coveted trophy is Tony V.
I retain.
Undefeated.
Undefeated. You'd almost think this show is rigged. That's great. You did a hell of a job there, though.
Thanks for having me. It was
so
a lot
one
of
more
fun.
time, how do people find you?
ScottHigginsLive.com.
All right. And until somebody finds out we're in the attic of a smoke shop, we're going to keep doing this. Tune in anywhere you get your podcast. You'll find us.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.